You just ate. You know you did. You remember the plate, the fork, the moment you pushed it away and said you were done. And yet, 20 minutes later, something pulls you back to the kitchen. Not hunger, not even craving, exactly. Just a pull. A quiet, insistent voice that says, more. You ignore it, or you try to, but it is still there. And here's the thing nobody tells you. That voice is not a flaw in your character. It is not weakness. It is not a lack of willpower. That voice is ancient. It is older than language, older than agriculture, older than the human species, as you know it. That voice kept your ancestors alive for 2 million years. And now it is running loose inside a world it was never designed for. This is the story of why you eat the way you eat. And it is far stranger than you think. Go back roughly 1.8 million years. Your ancestor, early Homo erectus, wakes up somewhere in the African savanna. There is no breakfast, there is no refrigerator, there is no guarantee of anything. What there is a landscape full of calorie sources that will try to escape, hide, rot, or be stolen by something with larger teeth. Every single calorie your ancestor consumed had to be chased, dug up, climbed for, or competed over. And those calories were never guaranteed tomorrow. In that world, the brain learned a rule. A rule so deep it is now written into your neurochemistry. The rule is this: when food is available, eat as much as you possibly can, because you do not know when food will come again. That rule built your brain's reward system, and that system is still inside your skull right now, completely unchanged, scanning every meal you eat through the lens of a world that no longer exists. Researcher Stephen Guyenet, a neuroscientist and author who spent years studying the relationship between the brain and obesity, describes this as the reward system hijack. Your brain was never designed to regulate a world of infinite, hyper-available, calorie-dense food. It was designed for scarcity. And when you put a scarcity brain inside an abundance world, something breaks. Here is what breaks. Deep inside your brain, in a cluster of neurons called the nucleus accumbens, dopamine fires every time you encounter something calorie-rich. Not when you eat it, when you see it, when you smell it, sometimes just when you think about it. This is not your imagination. This is a system that evolved to push you hard toward calorie sources before something else got there first. Thousands of years ago, that system fired at a piece of fruit hanging from a tree. Today, it fires at an advertisement, at a smell drifting from a restaurant, at the image of food on a screen. The stimulus has changed beyond all recognition. The response has not changed at all. And then there is the second system working against you: leptin. Leptin is a hormone produced by your fat cells. Its job is to tell your brain when you have stored enough energy, when you can stop eating. In a normal ancient environment, this signal worked beautifully. But researcher Jeffrey Friedman at Rockefeller University, who discovered leptin in 1994, found something disturbing. In modern humans, especially those eating a diet high in processed food, the brain often stops listening to leptin's signal. The message is sent, the brain ignores it. This is called leptin resistance, and it means the stop eating signal never arrives with the force it should. So you have a go signal running at full volume, and a stop signal being muffled at the same time. But there is a third layer to this, and this one might surprise you. Your brain does not just reward eating, it rewards the anticipation of eating. Neuroscientist Kent Berridge at the University of Michigan spent decades separating what he called wanting from liking. Liking is the pleasure you get from eating something. Wanting is the drive, the craving, the pull, the compulsion that makes you reach for food even when you are not hungry. And Berridge found that these two systems are neurologically separate. Wanting is driven by dopamine. Liking is driven by opioid receptors. And in modern food environments, the wanting system can be cranked to maximum intensity, even when the liking system is barely engaged at all. This is why you can eat an entire bag of chips and feel vaguely unsatisfied, yet still keep reaching in. The liking is low, but the wanting is screaming. Food companies know this. The term hyperpalatable food was not coined by accident. These are foods engineered to hit a precise combination of fat, sugar, salt, and texture that maximizes the dopamine response without triggering your natural satiety signals. The crunch, the melt, the way a single flavor never quite resolves, so your brain keeps searching for completion it never finds. This is not an accident of manufacturing, it is a design feature. It is your ancient reward system being played like an instrument. And your body cannot tell the difference between that engineering and a genuine calorie windfall on the savannah. Now here is the part that changes how you see yourself. For most of human history, the ability to eat past fullness was a survival advantage. The person who could pack in an extra 500 calories when food was abundant was the person who survived the next dry season. Restraint was not a virtue in a famine world. Surplus eating was. The ancestors who said, "I've had enough," and walked away from a kill were not the ancestors who passed on their genes in sufficient numbers to matter. You are descended from the ones who went back for more. This is not a metaphor. This is the literal mechanism of natural selection. The drive you fight every time you open a bag of something, every time you take one more bite past the point of comfort, every time you tell yourself you will stop after this and do not. That drive was a winning adaptation. It won. For 2 million years, it won. And now you are living in a world that has removed every condition that made it useful, while keeping every neural circuit that made it powerful. Researcher Paul Kinney at the Scripps Research Institute ran a now famous series of experiments where rats were given unlimited access to the same kinds of hyperpalatable food available in modern supermarkets: cheesecake, processed meat, chocolate. Within weeks, the rats showed patterns of consumption that were, by every clinical measure, indistinguishable from addiction. When the food was removed, they showed withdrawal. When they were given an electric shock that preceded the food, they kept eating through the shock. The wanting system had overridden every other signal in the brain. Those are rats. But the circuitry in question is ancient. It predates the split between rodents and primates by a very long time. So what does this mean for you standing in your kitchen at 9 in the evening, not particularly hungry, opening the fridge for the 3rd time in an hour? It means you are not broken. It means you are running ancient software in a world that has radically outpaced it. Your brain is doing exactly what brains like yours have done for 2 million years. It is scanning for calories. It is hoarding dopamine signals. It is keeping the wanting system warm because in the world it was built for, that system was the difference between life and death. The hunger you feel when you are not hungry is not a character flaw. It is a 2 million year old instruction still running in the background. Understanding that does not make the pull go away, but it changes what it means. When you feel that pull, that quiet insistence, that drift back toward the kitchen, you are not failing at discipline. You are succeeding at being human. You are feeling the echo of every ancestor who survived long enough to become you. And that is a strange kind of strange thing to carry around in your chest. The next time you eat, you will push the plate away. And 20 minutes later, you might feel it again. That pull, that voice. And now you will know exactly what it is. Not weakness, not failure, the oldest hunger in the world. Still looking for a savannah that is no longer there.